Hi everybody. Okay, I came across this video by Peter Boghossian. I hope I pronounce it right. A former professor who resigned in 2021, citing harassment and lack of intellectual freedom. Now, in this video, it says something that I would like to discuss with you. The video is primarily about Antifa, the far left wing organization recently designated as a terrorist group by the Trump administration. So here it is.
We need to create the kind of society we want to see. So we have, this is the fact, John, the society's been beholden by small, nasty, petty people. I don't speak much about it, but they literally ran me out of my job. They physically surrounded me twice in Portland and told me they were going to kill me. I can't prove they were Antifa. They didn't have the garb on. They were unmasked. Twice. Once they cornered me and they told me they were going to kill me. Literally, and so that was like the final thing. That and my $5,000 tax bill that I got. But my point is that we have been dealing with some very nasty people, and the way to respond to those nasty people is not by being nasty or crazy. The way to respond to those people, and I mean, you think I'm sounding like a Christian, is to just say, listen, mistakes were made. Or when Malcolm Gladwell comes out and he says he made a mistake, hey man, thanks for saying that. I appreciate you did that. Let's move on now. Or when someone, so the way to respond to the people who have been truly relentless at harassing the fucking shit out of me for years, literally filing false allegations against me, weaponizing the system, almost trapping me behind a dumpster and telling me they're going to literally kill me and cut me up. The way to deal with those people is not to take a flamethrower to them. To take a flamethrower to our institution, that's a very good thing, but not to individuals and not to violence. The way to deal with these people so that they see the model that they have, so they have something to aspire to, is to forgive them and tell them everything's fine. Mistakes were made. It's interesting. I just want to say, since I'm thinking about this, now that these universities.
Okay, that's about it. So, you heard the man. So he says, we should forgive them. Just forgive. Forgive Antifa. Is that what he's saying? Yes, it's as simple as that. Forgive them, just like that. And he uses the word model on top of that. As in, maybe if we forget them, they'll look at us as a model and they'll learn to forgive and forget, right? So they harass you, assault you, try to intimidate or assassinate you even. And you really think that by forgiving them, they are going to look at you and say, wow, what a great and strong man. He taught me a lesson. I should definitely become a better person. And that's the quintessential Hollywood trope. You know, the one where a Roman soldier, centurion, general, whoever, commits unspeakable evil against a poor Christian father of 11. And the Christian says, I love you and I forgive you. And suddenly the Roman is like, oh wow, I treated him like garbage and he repays me with unconditional love. I feel the need to love him back right now. And that's when he finds Jesus, or at least is filled with awe and admiration. So he, a man who only understands the language of violence, confrontation, and subjugation, is totally not going to say, well, since this guy passively accepts all my bullying and makes it 100% clear he is never going to defend himself, I might as well keep going and even up the ante. He's totally not going to say that. Who does Boghossian and those who think like him think he's dealing with here? That's my question. Let me clear the air here. I have no beef with the man. I'm kind of tired of listening to all the people on the conservative side who are cosplaying as Mother Teresa. That's all. You know what they call the woke right. It's unbearably cringe, in my opinion, that someone will still trivialize the New Testament and Jesus' message in such a naive and childish way. Sorry to burst the millennial-old bubble here, but that's exactly the psychology behind this sanitized, lazy idea of forgiveness that Boghossian and many others promote. This is just moral complacency disguised as moral courage. as if letting someone get away with the harassment, bullying, and crime were some kind of virtue, as if not acting at all were the ultimate act of bravery. Give me a break. This idea of forgiveness is the opposite of justice. Now, I'm no Bible expert, but if that is the notion of forgiveness Jesus had in mind, then we have two possibilities. One, his message wasn't meant to function in the real world, only to get you as an individual into heaven, the community be damned. Number two, his message applied to politics or human relationships is worthless, maybe even counterproductive. And to all Christians out there, relax. It's hard to imagine a figure as wise as Jesus saying, "Do whatever injustice you want to me and the people I love, I won't react and I'll forgive you no matter what." Wasn't he the one who said, "Turn the other cheek"? No. How many cheeks does a face have? One, if you don't count the one already struck. So to me, Jesus' idea of forgiveness seems to be something like this. You did wrong. I'll give you one chance to think it through and mend your ways. So you see, the sinner is being put to the test here. He's not meant to strike the other cheek. If he does, he will have to face the consequences. That's actually a balanced perspective, in my opinion, a reconciliation of the impulse to forgive with the necessity of justice. It's also embedded in Western legal systems. First-time offenders often get suspended sentences if the crime isn't too severe. Now consider Antifa. They've been wreaking havoc for decades. They haven't been given one chance. They've been given hundreds. And they keep doing what they're infamous for, undermining Western communities from within through violence. Forgiving them now will be unconditional forgiveness, and that has nothing to do with Christ's message. And once more, wasn't Jesus the one who said, "Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves, so be wise as serpents and innocent as doves"? He didn't say, "Be stupid as a dove that fits itself to a snake." So which one do you think unconditional forgiveness resemble? See, forgiving a sworn enemy is not only lax, immoral, and cowardly, it's suicidal. Also remember, Jesus was God incarnate. That's precisely the revolution of Christianity. Not some abstract deity removed from the world, but a God who walks among humans because he cares. His message is clear. Christians must operate in the world for the common good. Now, how do you reconcile that with enabling the destruction of the community you live in through unconditional forgiveness, by letting the destroyer get away with anything? One more time, Jesus also said, "Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's." The message here is politics and justice are not to be dictated by religion or heaven-seeking. Christianity doesn't endorse theocracy. Now, applying a distorted version of Jesus' forgiveness to governance and social responsibility, treating forgiveness as a political mandate or a guide for social conduct, is effectively advocating a theocratic mindset. Now, granted, preaching unconditional forgiveness, obeying a cartoonish version of Jesus and his teachings, may make you feel warm and morally superior inside, but if you think you can use the wreckage of your community as a bargaining chip to secure your place in heaven, you're deeply and perhaps irreparably deluded. Now, Antifa poses a real institutional threat. What they have done to you, they've done to many others, and will continue to do. So if you forgive Antifa for what they did to you, you are effectively forgiving them on behalf of everyone else they've harmed, and everyone they will harm. And you don't have that right. And what if Antifa's strings are being pulled by enemies of the West, such as China, Russia, Qatar? Are you forgiving those states too? So let me say it one last time. This isn't about you. It's about Western civilization, our community, which Antifa aims to destroy, like the black shirts, the brown shirts, and the red shirts before them. Forgiving Antifa is giving them carte blanche to destroy our civilization because that's their mission. And that's what their puppet masters are laser focused on. Now, if you want to forgive someone who violated your rights and dignity, go ahead. That's your prerogative. But you'd better be absolutely damn sure it's strictly personal and they won't go and do the same to someone else. Because if they do, your forgiveness wasn't noble. It was out of place and irresponsible. It made the problem worse for everyone.